say that it was a decision that was not only a catastrophic mistake, but a disgraceful misuse of institutional power. And I want to say to you that, inspired by Dewald, I want to use a classical word. Can I do so? Dewald? It was a decision inspired by hubris. Hubris is an arrogant pride that precedes a fall. And the decision to close Wilgenhof was a scandalous emanation of hubris. It was guided, gentlemen, meneer, by deceit, underhandedness, and deliberate lies by the senior officers of this university. And I've scratched out a lot. What was behind this folly? It's important for us to understand what were the motivational factors, the institutional imperatives that guided this decision. It was the desire to secure a symbol on the part of a person who has now left and who has been replaced by a person of integrity with whom Nico and the board have already established a good relationship. It was a desire for an emblem, a prize, proving that that person had achieved transformation on this campus. And Wilgenhof was to be the sacrificial lamb to that piece of hubris. And in this, he made a terrible mistake. He thought that Wilgenhof was going to be what was on UCT's campus in 2015, 9 years before, the Rhodes statue. Rhodes was a racist colonialist who perpetrated scandals in Rhodesia, in the Cape Legislative Assembly, and in our country. And he wanted Wilgenhof to be the equivalent of Cecil John Rhodes, a symbol of an oppressive racial past that could be excised, surgically removed from this university's life, that could be banished from the consciousness of an institution to proceed more strongly and united. That was a truly dumb decision. Wilgenhof was not a statue. We are a living, breathing, humanly populated, humanly remembered institution that is revered and cherished by the vast majority of us who have known and experienced it. And that is why we fought back. We fought back against the overwhelming power backed up by skewed institutions in the media and backed up by a crooked panel, which I think was cooked up from the start. We pay honor to Nico. Nico is a remarkable person. He is the head of a part of a publicly listed, thriving company. And I feel sorry for Nico's shareholders because they were neglected for a whole year. And Nico gave that year of his integrity, of his power, of his skill, and of his tact to Wilgenhof. The lawyers. We have two lawyers here. Two clever lawyers who are both here, and I'm going to ask them to stand. Jan Hendrik Roux and Johan de Waal, please stand. Yes. Their skill, their knowledge, their persistence in the face of intimidating behavior, underhandedness, deceit and lies, and bluster, and scheming maneuvers, they, with Nico, helped ensure that we are having this meeting. But most important of all, Nolani and her allies. Nolani, the creation of Harvard was a strategic stroke of genius. Nolani, please won't you and your colleagues stand up again? Yes. And I want to say too that Polani and her fellow founders of Arbeer had backers, and some of them are sitting here. I won't name them. I won't name or look at them. The prospering Wilgenhoffers who built up endowments for themselves, who built up capital accumulations and shared it with Wilgenhof. Lawyers are expensive. And we had fees for the Wilgenhof lawyers who also acted pro bono in certain instances. So we thank also the donors who are here tonight. And then the current host committee. You heard Neil. Neil's tact, his determination, his skill saw us through, and hit the whole host committee. They were all heroes. Ashland has already been thanked, but I want to add one thing. Nico mentioned Samora Menze, and the 77 black Wilgenhoffers who at an absolutely pivotal, crucial moment submitted their names, their individual names, who said the claim that Wilgenhof is a racist, retrograde, backward-looking institution is a lie. They came at a crucial point, and they saved Wilgenhof. Is Samora here tonight? Where is Samora? Samora Menzo, where are you? How are you? And Ziad, where's Ziad Patel? Ziad. And Ziad put his name to an affidavit which also saved Wilgenhof. Thank you, Ziad. I feel that I have to honor this occasion by reaching a depth of profundity that our MC Dewald achieved earlier in the evening. Why not? So I'm going to try to emulate, but I really want to ask us, gentlemen, why are we together? What do we have in common with each other? But it's an important question because we are really, really very different. We're very different, each in our own distinctive ways.
You've got no idea, Judge.
Why do we care? Yes, sir. Why do we care about Wilgenhof? What is it that has brought several hundred Omane here tonight? By the way, Nico is so clever that he is also capable of being underhanded on occasion. He said to the municipality in applying for municipal permission that there would only be 299 people here tonight. Can the extra 200 please leave now? So why do we come? Why are we 500 here? It's a mystery. And it inspired the most foolish commentaries of all on News 24 and other medias. To many it was completely inexplicable that Wilgenhof did not just accept its demise, the closure of a residence in which people occasionally lived, and that the Wilgenhof Omane and the current residents should fight for it. Neil said it in his talk tonight. He said that it's something that we believe in. And what is behind the mystery? Is it sentimentality? Did we all come back here vir 'n lekker goeie gevoel diep in ons harte? Het ons diep harte? No. Was it our attachment to younger versions of ourselves, versions that have long faded? Is it misplaced cohesion, as some theorized? Some actually said, they wrote in the public media, that it was some form of demented male trauma bonding. Trauma bonding? Is it the naweek? No. The naweek was a manifestation of something deeper. There's something nobler and finer behind our attachment to an idea, an ideal, an aspiration that Wilgenhof represents, and that is what we fought for in Wilgenhof's survival. And I agree with Neil when he said we weren't fighting against Stellenbosch, we were fighting for something deeper, not just in this institution, not just in tertiary institutions across the country, but inside our own national life. Let me tell you why. I think there are two principles that animate the ethos of Wilgenhof. Two principles which, where's Christoph? Oh, Mark Dramarius. Christoph, waar is jy? Wil jy nie opstaan nie? Daar is hy. Which Christoph inculcated to me. Christoph was Goose geweest, by the way. Christoph and Nicky Broek. And the other Doop Committee. The first principle is one of skepticism of power and authority. It is articulated in the Papagai principle. Think for yourself. Do not parrot authority. Independent-mindedness is a power. That principle is also central to our Constitution. I want you to hear me. We have a population that is deeply skeptical of power. People say, why did Mugabe survive in Zimbabwe? I don't think a Mugabe could survive in South Africa. The principle is central to our Constitution. It guarantees autonomy of thought. Independence, conviction, and the freedom to articulate widely differing views. Now, at a meeting in Gauteng, I instanced an unpopular person, and I'll take particular pride in instancing the unpopular person who embodies the maverick manifestation of the Papagai principle in our national life, and his name is Mr. Julius Malema. Let me tell you why. His stream of provocative, hate-filled articulations symbolizes the freedoms that we claimed for ourselves as South Africans 31 years ago. And let me tell you why it's important. In our neighboring states, except perhaps Namibia, Malema would be arrested. In Swaziland and Zimbabwe, he would probably be dead. Across the whole of the rest of Africa, the Middle East, North Africa, large parts of Asia, the whole of Russia and the Russian client states, he would be arrested, imprisoned, and probably killed. In South Africa, he is free to say what he likes. Across 2/3 of the land surface of our world, he would not be able to say what he does. And he embodies the values that we inspire every year in our first years. We should rejoice that Mr. Malema is able to offend us, to provoke us, and to be so outrageous. He is the extreme instance of the Papagai principle. He is skeptical of, disrespectful of authority, and says what he thinks. We should make him an honorary Wilgenhofer. Let me tell you the second principle. The second principle is a profound principle which Nico has articulated when he spoke about an independent institution. And I want to take just a moment to explain it. That is the principle that the preceding head of this institution, I'm so tempted to use the word a disgrace. Did I say a disgrace? That person sought to violate most gravely. It is the principle of constitutional diversity, multiplicity, freedom of association, freedom of conscience, freedom of religion, freedom of thought, belief, and opinion, the freedom, the constitutional right to enjoy one's own culture, to have 11 languages and sign languages, the freedom to practice one's religion and language. And Nico said independent institution. Iemand hier wil iets sê. Baie dankie meneer. That's a two-edged source, but let me finish. The decision to close Wilgenhof was a grotesque, crude, and inept attempt to impose uniformity on this university. A singleness of view, a singleness of aspiration, and to expunge the most singular articulation of diversity in this institution's whole history. Wilgenhof. The attempt sprang Where did this come from? We have a sociologist and historian here, distinguished man, Yanni Fagiano. Yanni, I celebrate you. We celebrate you, Yanni. When I came in, Yanni was already a legend. And he was a legend also for bad reasons. I won't tell you. So South Africa, let me say this. I'm almost finished. Let me say this. We are a fragile and tenuous and precious collection of differences, of disparities. No single cultural, linguistic, or ethnic group holds a majority in our country. We have 11 languages. We allow freedom of religion. We should rejoice in this. The university should have rejoiced in the idiosyncrasy, the differentness, the oddness of Wilgenhof. You know that idiosyncrasy is, deel is nog een groot woord. It's a word that appears in both Aristotle and Sleeping Beauty. Idiosyncrasy means that you're a bit nuts. And we should rejoice in that. These values all called for Wilgenhof in its uniqueness, its strangeness and oddness, to be allowed to flourish. That Wilgenhof resoundingly won against powerful forces in the media, against a so-called crooked, dishonest panel in the supreme governing body of this university. That it survived is a triumphant vindication of an important national principle, the principle of skepticism about power, this principle of freedom of speech, and of triumphant, affirmative difference and diversity. We have much to celebrate tonight. Let us rejoice, let us celebrate. Dankie meneer, kom gou weer meneer.